3 weeks before my wife died, she looked at me from her hospice bed and said 7 words that shattered everything I believed about our marriage. 7 words, and I've replayed them every single day for 6 years. I'm Peter Whitmore. I'm 73 years old, and I'm going to tell you something that might be hard to hear, because I'm going to describe a mistake you might be making right now. A mistake that won't feel like a mistake until it's too late to fix it. Stay with me, because what Susan said from that bed, it could change everything. 41 years. That's how long Susan and I were married. We raised 3 kids, we buried both our parents, we survived job losses, health scares, and all the storms that come with 4 decades of life together. And here's what I would have told you if you'd asked me about my marriage. It's good. Solid. We don't fight. We're comfortable. Comfortable. I use that word like it was something to be proud of. But here's what nobody warned me about long marriages. You can sleep next to someone for 40 years and still be complete strangers in the ways that actually matter. You can share a home, share a life, share everything, and still be utterly alone. I didn't know that. Not until Susan got sick. Pancreatic cancer, diagnosed in March. Gone by July. 4 months. That's all we had between something's wrong and she's gone. And in those 4 months, I learned more about my wife and about myself than I had in the previous 20 years combined. It was a Tuesday night, late. The hospice room was quiet except for the machines. Susan was tired, but she wanted to talk. And when someone you love is dying, you don't say, "Not tonight anymore." You listen. She took my hand, looked right at me, and said, "Peter, we wasted so much time being right instead of being close." I didn't understand. I was defensive. What did she mean, wasted time? We had a good marriage, didn't we? But then she started talking. Really talking. For the first time in years. She told me about the pottery class she'd suggested in 1994. I said no. Too expensive. The dancing lessons she'd wanted in 2001. I said no. Too busy. The trip to Scotland she'd dreamed about her whole life. Her grandmother was from the Highlands, and she wanted to walk those villages, feel that connection to where she came from. She'd asked me about that trip at least a dozen times over the years, and every single time I had a reason. Not a good time, too much money. Maybe when we retire. Maybe next year, maybe later. Later never came. And now she was lying in that bed, and we both knew. There would be no Scotland. No dancing. No pottery. No later. I asked her why she never pushed harder. Why she didn't insist, and what she said next. This is the part that broke me. She said, "I didn't want you to go because you had to. I wanted you to want to go because it mattered to me." She wanted me to care about the things she cared about. Not out of obligation, out of love. And I couldn't even give her that. After Susan died, I found a journal in her nightstand. She'd been writing in it for years, and reading it was like meeting someone I'd lived with but never truly known. Page after page about loneliness, about feeling invisible in her own home, about trying to reach me and hitting a wall every time. She wrote about evenings when I was physically there but completely absent, staring at the television, scrolling through my phone, giving one-word answers when she tried to talk. She wrote about giving up, about stopping asking me to do things together because the rejection hurt too much. She wrote about becoming roommates instead of partners. But here's what got me. She also wrote about hope, about the man I used to be when we were young, curious, present, engaged. She kept hoping that version of me would come back. She was waiting for me, for years, and I never showed up. I wasn't cruel. I wasn't unfaithful. I wasn't absent. I was just lazy. I thought being reliable was the same as being loving. I thought providing was the same as connecting. I thought not doing anything wrong meant I was doing things right. I was wrong about all of it. Here's what 41 years and one devastating loss taught me. The biggest threat to your relationship isn't some dramatic betrayal. It's not cheating. It's not fighting. It's not falling out of love. It's indifference. It's the slow fade. The gradual drift. The 1,000 tiny moments when you choose comfort over connection. One skipped conversation doesn't feel like much, One, "Not tonight, I'm tired," seems harmless. One, "Maybe later," sounds reasonable. But they add up, day after day, year after year, until one morning you wake up next to a stranger. Or worse, they're gone, and you never got the chance to really know them. I keep a photograph on my desk. Susan on our honeymoon, 1972. Laughing, squinting in the sun. So alive, so hopeful. And I think about how that bright, joyful woman slowly became someone with sadness behind her eyes. Not because of tragedy, not because of hardship, because of me. Because I stopped trying. If you're in a relationship right now, I need you to ask yourself something. When's the last time you had a real conversation with your partner? Not about bills or schedules. A real conversation. About dreams, fears, memories, ideas. When's the last time you did something just because it would make them happy? Not for a birthday, not for an anniversary, just because. When's the last time you looked at them? Really looked. And felt grateful they're still there. If you can't remember, you're making the same mistake I made. Your partner is not going to be there forever. One of you will go first. And when that day comes, you don't get a do-over. You don't get to take the trips you postponed. You don't get to have the conversations you avoided. You don't get to say the things you assumed they already knew. Love is not a feeling you fall into and then coast on. Love is something you do, every day, in small ways that feel insignificant until they're not. It's asking questions even when you think you know the answers. It's trying things that interest them, even if they don't particularly interest you. It's being curious about the person you chose, even after decades. I had 41 years with Susan, and I wasted at least half of them being comfortable instead of connected. Don't make my mistake. The person you love is still here. You still have time, but you have to use it. Put down your phone tonight. Turn off the television. Look at your partner and ask them something real. Listen to the answer. Care about what they care about. Because one day, you'll be sitting where I'm sitting, alone, looking at old photographs. Wishing you had one more conversation, Susan was right. We wasted so much time being right instead of being close. Don't waste yours. If this meant something to you, leave a comment. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you have a story of your own, something you've learned that might help someone else, there's a link in the description. Maybe your story is next.